Hey y'all, so this is Dennis and Khalil. This is our first episode of our podcast, Tales from the Dorm. So how are you doing today, Khalil?
I'm tired. So tired.
Yeah, we just came back from the gym. It was chest day, so it was hard. But, you know, we're here to grind, I guess. Yeah, so how are you overall today? How are you feeling from class and stuff?
Class was alright. We had a voice and speech today.
Yeah, we did.
And we just did voice and speech things. We literally watched videos on breath dilemmas.
Bro, I hated my video today. I just did. I didn't hate it, but it's just the fact, like, as soon as I saw my face, I was like, damn. Because I knew what I did. But,
That's what we're here for. We're freaking acting majors. So
yeah, by the way, yeah, we are.
We're acting majors. We're theater majors, a BFA program at Montclair. We're juniors.
So a lot of our stories are going to have to deal with the acting class and what we do in acting and all of those kinds of things. So, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So I mean, we had voice and speech, and then what did we do? Then after we went straight to the gym.
Yeah.
And then
we got food.
Ate, showered. And now we're here. Freaking sharing tales from the dorm.
Yeah, and I guess like the first question that we would have, or I have for you, Khalil, is what would you rather do in your free time now that we're in a show now. So like now that the show is gonna be over, what is the best thing that you are looking forward to the most?
Oh, bro, I'm so ready for this show to be over. Like, I love theater. I love acting. I just feel like, no shade to Montclair, no shade to this program. I just feel like, personally, a lot of how they go about things is very draining. Especially with the show and just like, the show is draining in general. Like, it's a very tragic show about the killing, a real life story of the killing of an elephant. Like, hung an elephant at a circus.
I think it's the only time in history that someone hung an elephant, which of course the Americans had to do it. So,
and we're sharing this story.
Yeah.
Like, I can't get this show out of my head because we're constantly in this theater doing this play, like, for 4 hours on end.
Yeah, and it's like
every day.
Yeah, it's like an air of just like down and like sadness.
Energy, the vibe is horrendous. Like,
yeah.
It's bro. Like, obviously, these are the reasons why we do theater. Like, because these stories need to be told. But at the end of the day, bro, like, this is just too much. Like, I mean, like, from a professional standpoint, yes, I would do this. If someone were paying me to do this, I would do this as many times as they would need me to do it. But the thing is, we have classes.
Yeah.
Then we go to the gym. Then we have to do homework, memorize all the stuff that we have for classes. Then go straight to rehearsals, and then freaking do a play about like death and elephants dying and people dying and towns rioting and racism and like there's every possible thing in this show. Like,
yeah,
it's just bad.
It's not bad. It's draining.
Draining.
Yeah.
Bad in sense of draining.
But just so overall ground rules that we are going to go over is just the fact that, like, in this podcast we're going to be talking about things that happen in class without disclosing any names, without shading any people, without doing any of that sort, or even in rehearsal space or anything like that. We are just going to talk about our experience as myself, a Hispanic male, and Khalil,
an African-American young man.
Exactly. And so the thing is, like, we are going to talk about our experiences in classes as this, which brings us to our first topic. Well, the only topic that we're gonna have for this for today is men's health. And this whole thing just got prompted by this TikTok that Khalil showed me. Bro, go.
So the TikTok, it was about, it's just this guy I follow, and he just like adds on to a list of just like the most unrealistic like expectations that just people have for men, and it's like, it's obviously like over dramatized.
Yeah.
Like, so it's not like it's not, he's not being like super for real, but it's like,
no, bro,
these are real posts that some people are tweeting or like posting, and like he's making a joke out of it. But at the end of the day, these are real people who are saying these things about men and how they should act, how they think they should act.
Yeah.
And it's just that the idea came to my head. It's just like, that's insane. We need to talk about that, like, especially from our perspectives within our own cultures and our ethnicities and whatnot. So it's like, it's just, it's hilarious.
Honestly, but also, happy Women's History Month, the second day.
Yes.
So yeah, we value everyone here, but this is something that we did want to talk about because of the fact that we don't want it to be a gender thing, like a gender war kind of thing. We're just like, oh yeah, like women don't know what they're talking about. Like, oh yeah, like men are just like superior or whatever. Yeah. Like, no, but it was something that like my experience. Like I know for example, like one of the things in the list that stuck out to me was just the fact that, like the list was like these things masculine men can't do, and one of them was like cry, but then the other one was like don't cry, and I was like, I can only do one or the other. I am someone that when they get super emotional and like even super angry, I tear up. I'm not crying. Like I'm not like sad about it. I remember like one time I got into like one of the only fights in high school that I got into. It was literally me crying while trying to beat someone up. And it was because of the fact that I got so angry. And like those things like you just can't control them. And I feel like there is like that stereotype coming from like a Hispanic household where, you know, my dad and my grandfather had this kind of thinking, like ever since you were little, as a joke. They were like, yeah, you know, like men don't cry. You know, like males, they're not supposed to cry. They're supposed to be like the caregivers. They're supposed to be like the protectors of the women and all of these kinds of things. And like that was like a sharp contrast to how society in America, as I was growing up, was leaning towards. It was like, oh yeah, no, men can be emotional. Men can be taken care of rather than being, you know, taking care of other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was fortunate enough to, in a way, be in a position where the male figures in my life, personally, they weren't as rough with me in terms of being, or in terms of telling me that I can't cry, or that I can't be upset about something like that might be bothering me. Yeah, I just feel like, for me, like, it's always been like, oh, if I need to cry, I'm gonna cry, like, and I never really taken that as like to be an issue in high school and in middle school. Yeah, that's where like that mentality became a little rough, because then it wasn't my family, it was the people around me that I was surrounding myself with, and my environment, that were being like, oh, you're this and that for crying, bro. Like, why are you doing this? You're
a bitch if you cry. Like that's something I heard a lot in high school from like other people and stuff. Or like that, it was kind of like a shaming kind of thing of like if you show any emotion, and that's why like I told you this, like it was like this person that I knew in high school asked out this other person and to prom, and they were like 2 years older than me. The thing is, like, I was there where that person that got asked out denied this person, and this man went out into the hallway and literally punched a wall. He didn't cry. In my head, I'm like, damn, like I would have teared up. It's like embarrassing. But the thing is, like, he just punched the wall repeatedly until like his knuckles started bleeding. I'm like, okay, you see, this is like a lot of like aggressiveness that you could have just let out with like a little tear. You know, like a little tear is just gonna it just is going to make you feel better.
Yeah, it's like growing up in high school, aggressiveness was
the go-to.
Yeah, it was the go-to emotion rather than being emotional, because everyone was so scared of being reprimanded, like, or being like shamed for an emotion that we should naturally be able to have, like. And I just feel like, you know, that story in general, like, there's so many different situations in my life that I've encountered where it's like, for me specifically, I could tell, like, I know you need to cry, my guy, like, but they just take it out.
Let it out.
Or they'll roast you. And like,
Yeah.
you'll be like, yo, you good? And they'll be like, nah, bro. That's why your mama's ugly. Like, and it's like, bro, what do you, like, I'm trying to help you. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, it just doesn't make sense. Like,
No.
that people would mask. I mean, I guess it's just it's a growing up thing. It's a phase. But it's like, it's a little sad that's what people have to resort to because of just their environments, how they grew up in their homes, and you know what they perceived to be right and wrong. Like, and I just like would always look at that and be like, yo, like, you're good, bro. Like, you can cry, you can share your emotions with another man, you can share your emotions with a female, you can share your emotions with an adult, whatever, bro.
This is the thing. This is what kind of gets me upset about that specific thing. It's the fact that, like, you do that, but, like, people just suck sometimes. Like, you would share, like, I know, for example, like, I'm a big sharer of my emotions. I'm a big sharer of, like, sometimes, like, if I get really comfortable with a person, I share what I feel and what I'm afraid of and all of these things. But then, like I guess it's what you said, like, it's like immaturity kind of things. But like in those cases, and like I'm at fault for doing this, and I know like I wasn't mature enough to handle like some of the talks that I had with like some of my friends. But like when we would get angry with one another, that shit would be used as ammunition. And I think that it's what upsets me in terms of like just seeing how the term of like mental health, of like men's health in general, is viewed in that in the fact that, like, you know, you overshare.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like if a boyfriend, like I've heard this from some of my friends or female friends, like they say like, oh yeah, he's too sensitive.
Yeah.
He's like all these things. So it's like we either are like don't have any emotion or we're just way too sensitive. And at the same time, it's just like, why is it that you can only be one, or the other? Yeah, because if you're in the middle, they're just like, yeah, well, pick a side. Like, you can either be like a manly man, or you can be like, like just like a dude.
Frustrating, because it's like, where's the support? Where's the love? Like, I feel like I even watched a video on this, on how like men. Like, a lot of men, there's a majority of men out there that are depressed, like, in the world. Like, there's more men that are depressed in the world simply because of, like, the lack of intimacy, or feeling like they have to have a lack of intimacy within their lives because of, I don't know, like, they feel like they can only get a sense of intimacy from relationships, from sex, from whatever, and they can't do that with their guy friends. They can't dap their guy friends, hug their guy friends, like, be in any way like physical with their guy friends. Obviously not in
Pause.
Okay. Obviously not in a way that's like, whatever, like, but the same way girls are intimate with other girls in the sense of being friendly, like, girls will hug each other. Girls will be so supportive of one another. Girls will just genuinely exert the physical love that everyone should really have, and it shouldn't be exclusive to relationships. Because guys have this mentality where it's like, oh, nah, that's gay. I can't be hugging my bro. That's gay. I can't, tell my bro I love him. Like, what? Because that's where it's like, it's this hard shell that's put around our hearts, and it's like, well, damn, now, like, I have to, like, I don't know, I have to hide the feelings that I have in terms of, like, letting my brother know that I love him, or wanting to hug my bro, like, because, we had a good day, like, and it's like, definitely. That's terrible.
And the thing is, like, for example, like, with my brother, I have an older brother, and, like, he is affectionate towards me. I mean, I always treat it as, like, I'm just still, like, a kid to him. But, like, the thing is, like, even, like, in terms of, like, like, and, like, this is, like, again, like, it's not putting a fault on anyone, because this happens to, like, for example, I'm like this, like, or I used to be like this, because culturally I was surrounded by people that were like this. societal wise, we are encouraged to not do that. Now we are, but again, it's like this weird thing where we are encouraged, but not that much, and we aren't. And like if we are, we're just really weird, or if we are, we're just really sus. Like all like like all of these kinds of things, and like a lot of it is treated as jokes. But like when you say it as a joke, you get self conscious. Like for example, I'm a big hugger. I hug all of my friends, whether that be female or guy friends. But then like for example, like sometimes I'm just like, oh yeah, like dude, what's up? And I just go like. And it was just like this, because like, it's just like I don't know if like a hug is like acceptable. Yeah, like that's what it is. But I feel like I think that just goes into the terms of like I feel like men. I don't want to generalize, but I in my personal situation or like experience is the fact that like I felt like I couldn't speak about this because if I spoke about this, I would either it would be taken out of context. It would be taken to a whole other level,
You're
or I would
shamed.
Yeah, like I would. Yeah, like I would be like offending someone if I said this, or I would be seen as weak. So yeah, like I remember coming here to this college, for the first 3 years, I realized like I was alienating myself so much from hanging out with people or like all this and that, and because of the fact like I was going through stuff, but I didn't voice it to people. So, like, if you were to see me walking through campus, I would just smiling. I'd be smiling. I'd be, like, hey, like, joking around with people, like, either, like, making fun of like, one of my friends and then making fun of me. And, like, we just, like, like, riff on each other. But then, like, when I got to the car or when I went back home, I was alone. And it was like something that was really tough to like get out of because I am in a relationship. So me being in that relationship, I started depending on that person to get me out of that.
Yeah.
And I knew I couldn't do that because that wasn't fair to that person. Mm-hmm. And the same kind of guilt of putting this on other people was kind of like was stopping me from sharing this with my friends. Because I didn't feel like I could. I felt like I didn't have any friends to share this with.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I guess it's just the fact that, like, even when I went home, like, it's just, like not even as a guy, but, like, my parents don't really believe in the fact that, like, a therapist is needed. Mm-hmm. And, like, I feel like also, like, coming from, like, a country where, like, in that kind of sense, doing that seems so excessive because we need the money for other things. Mm-hmm. So you can't spend money on a therapist. You can't spend money on those kinds of things. So when you don't have that access, it's shamed on because it's like, oh, what would this person think? Because my child isn't going to therapy. And much worse as a guy. Because you're supposed to, like, already be tough. You're supposed to handle the world.
Yeah. Supposed to have edge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going back to the TikTok, bro, this TikTok, it was a tweet, and it was a picture of Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
And pretty much it was Michael B. Jordan, and it was a girl who tweeted out, yo, like, Michael B. Jordan's cute and all, but he's just missing, like, an edge. Like, he looks like he's just, I don't know.
He looks
responsible. Like he knows where his birth certificate is. And
he looks like he has an 830 credit score. Like, that's how he looks like.
I showed Dennis and I was like, bro, what? Like, it's wrong to look responsible. You need to have an edge. Like, to me, it's like, I don't even know what the heck that was, bro. To me, it's like, it was that a compliment or was that an insult? Like, I don't know.
It was funny because, like, it's like, imagine you said this to Michael B. Jordan and he would be like, oh, thank you?
Like, literally,
like, word? It's like, no.
I don't know. I don't know. It's like, it's just a little frustrating. Like, going back to what Dennis was talking about, like, it's frustrating with the whole aspect of, like, feeling like you need to put all that weight on somebody who would actually, is going to care for you. And in this, case, it was Dennis's girlfriend, like, and if you don't have the right guy friends, the right people who have that right maturity level, which, believe it or not, it's a little difficult out here to find people like that. Like, find guys who are just mature in understanding that like, you can be cool with your brothers. You don't gotta clown your bros all the time. Like, yeah, it's fun every now and then, like, and when you both know it's a joke. But there are times when we want to get serious, when we want to get deep, because there's stuff that's on our hearts. And because you're so immature and unable to be vulnerable with me, I feel like I have to just hold it in. And I feel like I have to just constantly just like, because I already know you're going to turn it into a joke. You're going to turn it into it being a situation where you think I'm sus, I'm gay, whatever.
Now or later. Like, it can be said in public, like in front of your other friends.
And it's like, you're not my friend if if it's a situation where I'm telling you something so real, so vulnerable, and then you're going to pull it out of your back pocket when I might have done something minute that hurt you. And then you're gonna use that against me. Like, I've had that happen to me so many times.
Same.
Especially because I am a sensitive person. I'm gonna be honest about that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But it's like,
bitch.
You know, there's a time where there's a time where I want to be real with you, and I'm gonna talk to you about stuff that's really going on in my life that I need to talk to someone about. You know, because I can't hold it in. I can't keep it in because that's not good. To bottle things up, and so I trust you to talk to you about it, and then, you know, you make it seem like you're listening, and then I don't give you a ride one day, and you're like,
it's like over. It's
oh,
over.
You didn't give me a ride? Well, that's why, you know, you did this when you were 7 years old and you hate yourself. It's like, bro, like, like, I thought we had an understanding. It's like, bro, like. It's crazy because it's like, I don't know. I don't guess, to me it's like, I can't believe there are people who are like that, but you wouldn't believe how many times that's happened to me, and how many times, you know, being younger and not necessarily like having a sense of or like an ability necessarily to stand up for myself and think that, oh, like, I have to be loyal, I have to continue to be friends with this person.
This is okay.
And this is okay. This is normal. Yeah. Like, because I was in that mindset, and I was growing, and I didn't understand the importance of letting people like that go out of my life. And also because of just, you know, you're being young, you don't want to be alone. And you don't want to let people out of your life because you know that's just, it's hard to find friends. It's hard to make friends. And so it's like, you let someone who you've been with and you've known for so long in your life go, and it's like, damn, I got nobody now. But then, like, again, in this process, because I've been through this, and you're in this process where now you're alone, and now you have to figure out on your own how to love yourself and how to be okay with yourself and all these things, and that's gonna gravitate other people, the right people in your life, and you're gonna be, you know, satisfied with that, and you're not gonna have these toxic, you know, immature people in your life anymore. Man.
Yeah, I think that's something that I learned. Like, I feel like a part of growing up is the fact, like, it's okay to let go of people, and I have like a really tough time of letting go of people in terms of like, I focus very much on like the memories that this person has given me, rather than like, oh, this person is just not good for me at this point. And like, there were some people that like I stopped talking to, like one of my friends, for a couple of months, because I realized like the more I talk to you, the more it's going to jeopardize all of the relationships I have with other people. And that kind of was what propelled me into being like, no, I have to do this. I have to change. And like, it's weird because like, it's like, I feel like at the same time, like, we're saying all of these things, that guys can be sensitive, can be vulnerable, and all of these things, and like, it is true. But at the same time, I also feel like guys can be guys in terms of like the fact, like, we get clowned on by our friends a lot because we like going to the gym, and like, this is something that we do. And it's the fact that, like, you know, a lot of people, like, we live in a society now that is kind of telling us two different things at the same time. Or I feel like, in terms of, like, the media that I consume and, like, the things that I see. Like, I see, like, you know, like, I follow some gym, like, or inspirational kind of things on Instagram and stuff. And it's like, you know, go to the gym. That can be your therapy. But that doesn't necessarily have to be your only outlet to things. So, for example, I tried a therapist once, and, like, I know, like, you know, like, you you have told me that you are going to therapy and stuff. But like, the thing is, like, for me, a therapist didn't work compared to how the gym has been working for me. Like, I've been going for a year now, and how I used to be before, I used to be like, you know, like overweight, and I used to be super insecure. Yeah, thank you. I used to be super insecure about how I looked, and that like hindered me from going out places. But then at the same time, I was met with people being like, no, it's okay, like you are okay with how you look. But then I was hanging out with other people that were like, oh, like I love like when like guys are just guys. I love when like guys are like, you know, like they're super muscular and all of these things and all of these and like all of these kinds of things where it's just kind of like the way that some people talk about guys, just in general, whether that be good or bad, it is so like different from how we as guys have been taught that like you need to respect girls. Mm-hmm. You can't say, like, for example, like saying bitch to a girl, like specific to a girl. No, we don't do that around here. And it's like, okay, but then, you know, when a guy is being really sensitive or when a guy is doing something that you don't like, oh yeah, that's like a bitch. Mm-hmm. And it's like, how does that correlate? You know what I mean?
There's no like reciprocation, or there's no like reciprocation in the sense of respect and just understanding, just because there's this notion that a man should be strong enough to deal with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, again, and it's also like a stereotype I want to say for both guys and girls. It's like there's this notion for girls where it's like women are too sensitive to endure tough things.
Tough things, yeah.
But guys can, because guys are built like that. Guys are built tough. But that's not the case. Like, women can endure tough things. Guys can be sensitive. And that's the thing that we need to, I feel like, just move forward from and just come to an understanding at the end of the day that there's no set thing, or there's no set way of understanding a person based on their gender. Like, at the end of the day, we're all human. We all bleed the same blood. You know, we're built different, yes, but at the end of the day, we're still human. We're still relatively have the same emotions, and can feel the same things and whatnot. So it's just like you just can't do that. And it's gonna make people feel horrible. And why would you want to make people feel horrible? Because I know a lot of cases, it's crazy because some people really believe that they're being helpful. Like, when they're telling you to man up, or they're telling you to toughen up, bro, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. They really think that, oh, yo, like, I'm changing this person's life to, like, and I'm keeping him from being less sensitive because it's a tough world out there, and he needs to learn how to toughen up and be a man, this, that, and the third. Like,
wait, I just want to say this. Mm-hmm. It is right. Like, there is a tough world out there. But, like, you know, I feel like telling, like, I've been told this a lot of times where you're just like, oh, just man the fuck up. Or like, oh, just go like work out or something. Like, I do that now, but I don't do that because I feel scared or because of this. I do that because like it calms me. It's not anything else. It's just that it calms me down. And you know, like telling someone like, you know, man up. It's like me being like, oh yeah, you're sad? Stop.
Literally.
You're homeless? Buy a house. Like, you know, like, you're broke? Get a job. Like, no. Like, oh, I didn't think about that shit. Thank you. I'm going to do that now. It's just because of those kind of things where, like, the world is tough, but being an asshole is not the solution to it, if that makes sense.
I think from the jump, like, when I first started, like, acting in theater, what intrigued me about it was the sense of being able to relate to an audience, to relate to multiple people at the same time through a story. And like, I remember I would do shows in like middle school, high school, and people would come up to me and be like, yo, like, you know, you were so great, but like, I want you to know that like you telling the story like really helped me, and I was really able to relate to your character. And it's like, that's why I want to do this for the rest of my life.
That's why we do it.
Because it's like, being able to relate to somebody is so important, and it's more. That's the what's helpful, not the tough yourself up, man up kind of thing. Because if you can be like, if you see someone's upset and you see someone's feeling down, and you're like, yo, what's going on? You talk to them, you ask them about how they're doing, and you know, provide them with, I don't know, like a story from your own experience. And they're like, oh, I'm not going through this alone. Like, this guy went through it and he's fine. Like, he's happy. He's you know, he told me how he got through it. So there's hope. There's hope in that. There's a sense of like resiliency that now I have because I can relate to this person, because this person did what I didn't think was possible in terms of, you know, rising above what was getting them down to begin with. And so like you hear all these rough stories of like, you know, that we share in acting or in movies and in TV, and it's like that's why we're so like able to grasp onto these like shows and movies, because it's like there's something about characters or something about like these people that we're watching that's like, I feel for you. Like, even if it's not the same exact situation, like it's like there's parts that you can pick and you can like be like, yo, I remember that. Like, I remember when I was heartbroken. I remember when I was dealing with stuff with my parents. I remember how like dealing with these cultural like toxicities made me feel within my own culture that this character is going through. Like, it's just like all these things is what propels me to want to do this, because I think that's the most helpful thing, when you can relate to somebody and not just give them the bare minimum of just being like, hey, the world's tough, but
get over it.
Like, no, there's steps to it. Like, there's steps to getting over it. There's steps to doing better. There's steps to everything. You can't give the most dry response and expect someone to just be okay because you're okay and because you took a different route of being okay. You know what I mean? Everyone's different.
Yeah, and with that being said, like I do want to say that, like, you know, if you are going through stuff, like, find someone that you can talk to. And if you don't have anyone, go to a therapist. It actually helps. It does help. And if therapist is not for you, like it wasn't for me, then find an outlet that you can do that can be or is able to help. You know, because like, again, like, just because we are talking about these kinds of things and we are talking about the fact that, like, for example, like in our university, we have this kind of thing where, like, you know, even like now, where like a lot of people in our program can talk about these kinds of things, but at the same time it's like very superficial in terms of like how they can talk about these things, or in terms of like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like, it's like only like in circle talk of classes that we can do that. But even then, it's just like you have a set amount of time, and then after that, because we cannot speak about this after class, oh yeah, you're good. Nothing else. It doesn't get brought up again unless you bring it up. And sometimes you don't want to bring it up. Sometimes you're just like, oh yeah, like, fuck.
Or it's like very surface level. I care about you because the world needs to care about you.
Like, yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, there's a black situation happening. Black Lives Matter. Someone died again. Oh, I just want you to know that you're loved.
Oh, bro.
I care about you. You being an African American young man or woman, I'm an ally. I'm on your side. Like,
yeah.
And it's like there's more to it, and like that's all they're gonna give you. They're not gonna they're not gonna check on you later. They're just gonna be like, oh, I heard this in the news. I just want you to know I'm praying for you. I'm thinking of you.
I voted for Obama twice. I would have voted 3 times.
Literally, like,
can I say the N-word now? Please. And it's like, word? Like,
it's like, come on now. It's like, that's my personal experience with a lot, not even just this school, with a lot of people that I've met. It's just like, when something goes down that's national news or that's huge, that's when they want to start caring about you.
Yeah.
And it's never just their intention just to do it just cause. But, you know.
Yeah, well, with that being said, we do want to talk about, like, you know, all of that, but what is, like, a show or a movie that you have seen that has put you on the path of, like, you know, it's okay to, like, be kind of, like, just be a person and not be, like, you know, focus on being tough or focus on being manly. Because, like, for me, I had this movie where it was, like, it's gonna be, like, super, like, basic, because I feel like everyone knows this now, but, like, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, bro.
Still never seen that movie.
You've never seen that movie?
I've never seen it.
No fucking way, bro. That movie's elite. Elite. Like, it's so good. Like, it's not even like it's like an Oscar-worthy performance. Like, no, but it's just the fact, like, it just...
storyline.
Yeah, like, are you gonna see it? Like, or can we just...
see it.
Alright, I was gonna spoil the shit out of it, but, like, it's fine. But, like, the thing is, like, it's, like, these kinds of things where, like, these kinds of movies, they talk about the things that aren't supposed to be talked about. Yeah. And it's just the fact that like Perks of Being a Wallflower kind of helped me and introduced me to my love of like music and like not just music but like movie in general, because I remember like I watched Perks of Being a Wallflower like when I first started high school, and when I saw it I was just like, it was just like when I had cable and like it was just happened to be there, and I was just like, damn, like I was like, I ended up crying, and I was like, damn, like, you know, I don't feel what you know, the main character Charlie is feeling, but like I do feel that despair. I have felt that despair. And it was really hard to be like, oh yeah, I love Perks of Being a Wallflower, because in high school especially, they would be like, what's that? And I'll be like,
yeah.
Thank you for that. And it's just like that kind of thing. But yeah, for me it was Perks of Being a Wallflower. What about you?
For me, there's I don't know. I think more so TV shows get me. Like, I don't know why. I just love TVs. But movies, I think the movie that got me recently was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I've never seen that.
Oh my goodness.
I've never seen
And
that.
it's just, I think it's a mixture of like just the cultural thing. And again, it's not the same circumstance, never the same situation that the character is going through, but you can pick bits and pieces from that thing and be like, yo, like, I can relate to this. And it's just that idea of, the movie was like pretty much tackling the idea of just like I don't know, from the mother-daughter kind of standpoint, just the mother not always being so supportive and there for the kid, and just like all her endeavors and just like everything that she would want to pursue, and it took everything that happened in the movie, I'm not gonna spoil it, but it took everything that happened in the movie for the mom to understand. And it's like there's something so beautiful about that final realization of like the mom being like, I get it now, like, and I don't know, there's just something so beautiful. But TV wise, it'll always be it for me is Rami. Season 2 Rami. Rami, oh my lord. Rami Youssef.
You always mention that, and like I've never seen it. I mean, I don't have HBO.
It's not HBO, it's Hulu.
Oh, do you think I'm gonna have Hulu?
I don't know.
No, bro.
Why wouldn't you? A lot of people have Hulu.
Yeah, but like I don't know. Like the one time I got Hulu was because Attack on Titan is coming out.
Oh, I'm gonna get
I'm gonna get Hulu.
Attack on Titan, but I'll
You bet I'm gonna get Hulu because Attack on Titan is coming out.
Anyways, Rami Season 2, the end of Rami Season 2. The whole character of Rami, he is horrible. He's probably one of the worst, not worst written, but like worst in the sense of like he does so much wrong. Like, and it's like impressive how like Rami writes the character, because it's like, how do you write a character so that has so much like so many issues and like a lack of common sense and self-awareness,
right?
Like it's just so engaging because of that. And it's like, because he does so much wrong, you're able to pick out so much of a sense of relatability that normal TV and movie don't do. TVs and movies like to make this situation, the circumstance where it's like everything is good. At the end of the movie, it's a happily ever after. At the end of the time,
I hate movies
everything's
like that,
gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Everything ties in real nice and like. But Rami, it's like it's real. Like, we as human beings, we mess up so much, whether we like to admit it or not.
And that's okay.
And that's fine. But like, even though you like kind of like lean towards hating Rami at the end of each season, you still can empathize or sympathize with who he is and the wrongs that he's done, even if it's like a little excessive or much, like, because he just does the most. But I think that was the first time I've really watched a show or anything in the media that's just made me be like in a form of media that's so fixated on making everything be perfect. Like, this show is showing me that I don't have to be perfect. Like, I don't have to be perfect, but also that it's not okay to make these mistakes, but to just be aware of it. It's like pretty much reminding you to have self-awareness so that you don't hurt other people. Like, and I think that within itself is beautiful and engaging.
I think it's interesting that you said that, because like it's just the fact that like I feel this is probably gonna be a hot take to people, especially like considering how big cancel culture is right now. But like I feel like, you know, people can change, and I feel like with how things are, like for example, like, you know, like there have been people, like for example James Gunn, he was like, he has said some like really racist, like homophobic like things like 10 years ago, and like he got fired from being like from doing Guardians of the Galaxy. And like, you know, I guess there's a difference of like for example when Kanye was like going through all this like anti-Semitic things, and like people and like or like harassing his ex-wife and Pete Davidson, like people were defending that man. They were defending that man. It was hard to watch some of these comments. And some of these other comments were like, I gotta keep it through because he made graduation. He made graduation, that's it. And I'm like, no.
But then there was those other memes where it was like, yeah, what are you talking about? Kanye didn't make graduation.
No.
Lamar made graduation. J. Cole made College Dropout.
J. Cole! Yeah, no. But the thing is, like, it's just the fact that, like, it's like all of these things where, like, there's a difference between, like, defending this person and just saying, hey, this thing happened years ago. People can change. I did a lot of mistakes during high school. I got a shit ton of mistakes during high school. And I bet some of those mistakes are going to come and are going to bite me in the butt. I don't know why I said butt. Like, I just didn't. I haven't cursed for the past hour. They're going to come bite me in the ass. Just cause, you know, just because, like for example, let's say, like, best scenario, I do end up getting, like, roles. I do end up getting, like, a career out of, like, theater, like I want to do. You know, like, someone just doesn't want me to succeed, or someone wants me to, like, me to have some kind of repercussions, and, like, they say, like, oh yeah, like, Dennis did this, Dennis did this to this person, Dennis was like this to this person, Dennis said this to this person, like, all these kinds of things. But, like, the thing is, like, I was younger in high school. Like, I was a year younger than everyone. I was like I am a year younger than everyone. But the thing is just the fact that, like, you know, like, you mature. Like, even, like, last year, the person I was last year, I am so far removed from that person that I am right now, because of the fact that, like, I matured, because of the fact that there were so many things that happened that made me realize, oh, what I did was wrong, you know. And I feel like as long as you are able to have these kinds of, like, recollection of, like, you know what, I'm not justifying what I did, that was fucked up. Mm-hmm. That was fucked up, and I admit that. Yeah. I feel like that's what makes you more human than being like, I can't do anything wrong. I didn't do shit. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, like, for example, like, I tease a lot of people. Even in my class, I tease a lot of people. But then, like, I can't get hurt when someone teases me back, because, like, I put that on myself. And so that's why I treat it as, like, oh yeah, we're just riffing off of each other. And, like, I make sure that the other person knows I'm riffing off of you. I don't mean this. Like, this, like, you know, like, we're good, and it's like, you know, like, we're good.
And just to check up on them and have the self-awareness of if you are hurting them and they are showing signs that they're hurt, or they tell you that you're hurt, that you have the compassion to just be like, oh, my bad, I thought that this was what this was. You know what I mean? Like, because there are some people who are just like, oh, stop. Again, circling back, stop being a baby. Stop being,
man the fuck up.
Exactly,
it's
man
like,
up.
No,
like,
no,
and it's like, nah, bro, we have the right to feel how we feel. If we accidentally hurt someone's feelings, like, know that it's an accident, because we had the perception that, like, the relationship could be a relationship where we can riff off of each other.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what my relationship with you is.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times, like, we do, like, make fun of one another, but, like, then, like, we do have these, like, serious conversations. Mm-hmm. And, like, that's what this podcast is gonna be all about. Like, it's gonna be about us. Like, we're gonna be making fun of each other, or we're gonna be, like, laughing together, but we're also can talk about, like, it doesn't even have to be serious things, but, like, deep kind of things. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I definitely want to talk about, like, various different topics. but there is gonna be a point in the podcast where it's just us saying jokes, or like laughing at one another, because that's just how my friendship with Khalil is. But yes, no. Speaking about that, did you see the last episode of The Last of Us?
No.
Wait, what episode? What episode?
I'm on 5. Well, I finished 5. I'm on 6.
Wait, what? 5 was. Wait, are you
5
still?
was. Well, we can't spoil anything.
That happened 3 weeks ago. I think you're the only person that hasn't watched it, bro.
That's not true. But 5 is the episode.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert. 5 is the episode where the black guy and the kid.
Oh.
Yeah, that I finished that episode.
But we played the game.
We played the game, but listen, I don't know how they do it on the freaking show. It's probably different.
All right.
So, we'll hold on for that. We'll hold off.
Fine.
But just to continue that, I agree with you. I do think people can change. I think we're walking testaments of change.
Just think of how it was in freshman year.
This guy was ridiculous.
I just said, like, I'm not gonna say it. Like, I'm not gonna.
No, but we're walking testaments of change. I think, myself included, like, the last 2 years, 3 years have been probably the hardest years of my entire life, and I hadn't been on social media. Like, I didn't want to be around anybody. Like, I literally, you can ask Dennis that too.
He would dip.
I would go to class freshman year and I would immediately leave.
Our teacher would be like, "All right, class, this dude would be." You just like the door was closed. I was like, "Damn."
I just was so. I would isolate myself. I was going through it because of just, personal issues. But, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I grew from that. I changed from that. I think even though it's been the most difficult 3 years of my entire life, it's also been the most, like, growth I've had ever, like, literally in my entire life as well. And it's a testament to everything that I went through, everything that I feel like God put in front of me, and that I had to, like, persevere through, because it's just like, it was some rough stuff, guys. Like, there's a reason why you guys hadn't seen me in, like, 2 years, where I'm just now hopping back on Instagram, where I'm just now, like, trying to be more creative and putting all these ideas out there, because now I feel like I'm able to do that.
Hence this podcast.
Hence all the other things that I have in mind to do, because I don't want to say I'm, like, super happy now or anything, but, like, I'm in a better place where I can do these things, and I feel like I have the mental capability to do it, whereas before I was down, like, and I just think that, like, we could talk about why. Like, I was going through a place where I was going through a situation where I genuinely would start to feel like I wasn't capable of doing much of anything. Like, I felt like I was
not worth it.
I was inferior to the world. Like, I felt like any person in the universe could like, I don't know, like, or was better than me, or whatever the case might have been. Like, and I was just having these, like, I would have immature mindsets, like, and I would do these things, and I wouldn't be aware of it, and I had such a lack of self-awareness to where I felt like, oh, I have to now, like, educate myself on all these things. I have to educate myself on what toxicity is. I have to educate myself on manipulation and all these things, so I don't do this to these people, even though I wasn't aware that I was doing it. Like, I have to fix this stuff. I have to go through therapy to do this and that and this, and, like, all these things that was going on in my brain, because I felt so horrible about him. It was just so hard for it to leave my head, and for me to believe that I was worth it, or that I could love myself, because how could I love myself if people couldn't trust me? How could I love myself if I was hurting people that I love?
How can you love other people when you don't love yourself? And I think that was the biggest one.
I wasn't loving myself.
Yeah.
I hated myself, like, real talk. I did not like myself, and it was a situation where I was trying to force love onto others when I didn't even love myself. Like, and how was I supposed to do that? And it was just getting me more and deeper into a rut, because I'm giving I'm giving out love that I should just be giving to myself. And like my therapist would always tell me this, like, Khalil, you're on E, like your cup is empty. Fill your own cup before you start pouring your water into other people's cups.
That's
like
true.
And I'm just like, I was like, yeah, I will. And then I would just get a freaking, I would take a week to do that for myself, to do all the things I needed to do, work out, whatever I needed to do to make myself feel happy. And I'll be like, word. Now I'm gonna go hang out with people and start feeling their cup. Like, it's just like, it was this cycle of just like, of me wanting to be so selfless and give and love, and that I just, like, I might as well have been there for myself. Like, and if I didn't even have like the slight people that I had in my life at the time, I don't know where I would be, bro. Like, if I didn't have God, I don't know where I would be. Like, it was a situation where, like, the slight things that people would do in my life that that were in my life, they were lifting me up and telling me I was this and that, reminding me that I was this and that. My family reminding me I'm good, I'm this and that. Like, if I were just alone and didn't have that, and I was just giving other people everything that I was like giving them, and filling their cups rather than filling my cup, and I was alone within that, I probably would not have just been I wouldn't be here in a place of being feeling as good as I'm feeling right now. Like, I would just feel lonely. I would feel depressed. I would feel all these things, and this cycles down back into the mental health thing. Like, you're good, bro. Like, anybody out there that is finding it hard to make friends, that's finding it hard to believe in themselves and their creative ability and their intellectual ability and their social ability, like you're good. I'm telling you, you're good. You can believe me if you want, but I know you're good because God knows you're good, and you just have to just trust yourself. You have to spend time with yourself to really love yourself, so that you can effectively and in a healthy way provide that for others. That's my piece.
Yeah, just, I feel like you said like everything that needed to be said, but I felt like, it's interesting that you said all of these things about like if I didn't have other people, because, like the way that, I got better, the way that I found myself getting better was I was very much on my own. I think I only had one person, which would be my brother. The other person would be the other people would be my parents and my family, but my sister was too young. My parents really couldn't understand. I couldn't really talk about this with them. My brother, he's 8 years older than me, so like as much as he was trying to understand, there was just some things that me still seeing him as like a parent or a role model, I couldn't express these things to him. And there was a time last year where I found myself that like I didn't even have like my girlfriend at the time, because we were going through stuff. And because of all of these things that happened consecutively since the pandemic started, since me graduating high school, since me dealing with losing friends, with losing like people that I really cared for, and all of these things, like all of these happened, and then I found myself alone, and I couldn't rely on this one person to pick me back up, and I couldn't rely on like other people to pick me back up. It was hard. For example, like I don't really I'm an atheist. Like I don't believe in God, so it was really hard for me to like take myself out of that mentally. But I guess it goes in terms of like I believe like the one thing I firmly believe in is like the power of oneself. And whether that is fueled by God or whether that's fueled by like just your own kind of like will to get better, you are powerful on your own. It's okay to be selfish in terms of like I had to be really selfish and not fill up everyone's cup, like Khalil said, in order for me to get better. And only then, when I was finally better, now I'm allowing other relationships to come in. Now I'm finally being close with people that I really have cared for the past 4 years, but I wasn't able to show it. Like for example, like if it wasn't for that, me and you would still be like kind of like like, you know, we would be in the same vicinity in the class.
Distant.
But yeah, but we wouldn't be like, you know, because like now we're always constantly together because we always go to the gym. We're working on like on our things together. We do a lot of things together on campus, and it's just the fact like because of that I'm able to finally be like, no, I'm able to care for people, you know, like I care for you because you're like you have become one of my closest friends, like even like my best friend, you have become that. But it was the fact that like I couldn't have that because I was so focused on like I can't like I can I'm everyone is better than me. I cannot, I don't deserve any of this because of things I did in the past, because of the way I am, because of how I look, all of these kinds of things. And it was like, you know, like I'm still dealing with like that sense of like insecurity, but it's so much better in terms of like how I'm able to tackle that because now I have people in my corner that I see now and I appreciate now, that even when I did have those people in that corner, I wasn't able to appreciate them. And like that's why I lost some people, because I was so busy, like not so busy and like, but I was so like deep in that hole of like just feeling loneliness that I missed that there were people in my corner that I just let go, that I abandoned because of that. And like that's a regret I'm always gonna have, but that comes with growing up. Yeah. And that comes with being a human being, but also becoming a man, and not a man in terms of like what society or what other people have said, in terms of like what lists you can check, or like in terms of like how you look, but in terms of like how you feel, you know, mature. I am mature enough to say to myself like, you know, I have lost people and I have deserved for them to leave because of the fact that things have just I just couldn't appreciate them, or I wasn't ready to. And now I am, and I'm appreciating new people, and those people might not be in my life all the time, but I'm for sure going to cherish the memories I'm gonna make now with these people. Yeah. And that's my piece about mental health and in general and all of these things. Like, no matter how hard it is feeling, it's up to you. And whether you finding that strength in yourself comes from loving God or loving yourself, or, you know, finding a therapist or finding someone to talk to, you have that strength in yourself to come pick you up. Because a therapist, like you know, like you can, like, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but a therapist is only going to listen to you. The same way that like a personal trainer is only going to do and help you with the exercises as long as you're willing to put in the work. And sometimes that's hard, but it's never going to always be hard. It's going to get better. And like that's the one thing that I have in my mind all the time. And I think that's why also like this year I've realized like I'm never sad. I might be really tired, I might be really like upset at some point, but I'm never sad anymore. I'm always happy. I'm always looking at things positively. Even when things aren't going my way, I'm like, you know, this is a door closing, but this is like another door opening at the same time.
That's admirable, bro. Like for real. It really is admirable because that's hard. That's something I can't say I can agree with, but but I mean, yeah, it's facts, and it's just so. I think what's really beautiful about like what was said is just the whole aspect of knowing that there are people that are going to be there for you, like no matter what. Yeah. And you know, shout out to those people. Like shout out to my family. Like shout out to the people who, when I was going through some like really, really, really tough stuff in the last 3 years, that they were there, like every inch of the way. Like they did not, like even though they knew who I was and what I was going through and what I thought of myself and all the issues that I claimed to be, and like they just like were still gonna be like, at the end of the day, I'm still looking at you as Khalil, and you're still my friend. You're still my like someone who I like talking to and someone who I appreciate and all these things. And I didn't see that at the time. I just, immaturity and whatnot. But you think about it now, and you grow up and you really realize like that's rare. That's beautiful. That these people are there for you no matter what. And I'm super thankful, because it's like, I even to this day, we do the show, I'm a preacher in the show. Coincidence? I think not. But there's a part where I pray in the show, and I'm not faking. I'm not acting praying. I'm genuinely praying back there. And every night I pray. And every night I ask God to bless the important people in my family, and I go down the list. Start with my family, say every single person in my family, go to my friends, my current friends, every single person in this ensemble that I'm part of. I say them by name and ask God to bless them. Then I go down to the people who I don't talk to anymore, but who were always there in my life, whether they like me right now or not, whether, you know, they have me blocked or not. Like, I pray for them. I pray for them, and I pray for their family, because it's not my job to hate them. Like, why? What am I hating you for?
You're wasting your energy.
If anything, I'm wasting my energy. But if anything, like, you taught me things that, like, I wouldn't have learned otherwise. Like, I really wouldn't have learned any of the things that I know now if it wasn't for some of the hardships that some of the people in my life have put me through. I wouldn't have learned any of the things that I know now if it wasn't for me not realizing the importance of certain people that I let go in my life. You know, like, it's just like, so it's like, why be pissed and mad at these people and forever holding this grudge on them, when at the end of the day, like, I have nothing but a feeling of gratitude towards everybody in my life. And I love them no matter what. Like, I love everybody who stepped into my life or who has stepped out. Because I'm not in a place of bitterness anymore. I'm not in a place of hatred or feeling like, hey, you did me wrong, so I'm never going to want to speak to you or care about you or whatever. If for whatever reason you're blocked, it's because it's hard for me. I'm being so real. For anyone who, if for whatever reason you're blocked, it's not because I don't care about you or I don't love you or I don't, for whatever reason, someday want to speak to you again. It's because it's hard for me to see you right now and for me to heal if I see you. So, yeah, to close it out, because we got to go. We have a show. We have to.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Go get ready for that. But to close it out, I want to let everybody know out there,
Yeah, we do.
whether you're currently in my life or whether you're unfortunately not, I love you wholeheartedly. I'm praying for you. I wish you the best in life. And for anybody who I don't know, I love you too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad that you're watching this, that you're listening to this, and it's going to be mad corny, but you're loved. Like, no matter whether you believe it or not, like, you are loved, and you're capable of way more than you think. Just know that.
Yeah, and I mean that's as much as I can say as well, because I love all my friends. I love everyone that's in here, in this room, like everyone that's in this room. But like I just, I love my family and all of those things. But that's all sometimes you can give. Even like, forgiveness and all those things, all that goes away, and sometimes you're just left with like love for anything, for everyone. But regardless, with that being said, we hope that you enjoyed this first episode. I'm on my part, just thank you for whoever has listened to this whole entire episode or just watched. We are going to be posting snippets on Instagram and TikTok. We're gonna be posting the entire episode on YouTube. Every episode comes out every Thursday. We are going to be talking different things, so we're
changing it. We're not doing Thinking Thursdays anymore. It's just gonna be the show, like, every Thursdays.
Yeah, but like sometimes when we do have like some serious things to talk about, we will say, this is gonna be a Thinking Thursday or whatever. But regardless, we're going to have that. So if you want to listen to the podcast, you can listen to it on Apple Podcasts. But if you just want to watch us and just see our reactions and stuff, we're really sorry, but we're really tired, so that's why our energy might seem a little down. But we're not always like this, we promise you. So just anyway, again, thank you so much for listening to us. Yeah. We hope you made it through the entire thing.
If not, that's fine.
Yeah, if not, that's fine. We won't bore you every day.
We'll definitely not gonna do that. We're gonna have like guests on too. Like it's not just gonna be exclusively us.
No, yeah.
But we're gonna have, because this is tales from the dorms.
So we will have other people from our class.
People, from our class.
Yeah.
We're gonna spice it up. Topics are gonna be different. We're gonna get your opinions on things.
Yeah.
We're gonna do polls. So just stay tuned and thank you for listening to us.
Yeah, and also really quick, follow us on Instagram. My username is Velasco6818.
My username is just my name, Khalil Louis Jean, on Instagram, and then it's Khalil.LouisJean on TikTok. Yeah.
Oh right, yeah. I don't know my TikTok one, so I'll tell you guys already on the description.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we would like to sign off, and we would like to say, hey, this has been Tales from the Dorm, episode 1, with our first Thinking Thursdays. We hope you enjoyed, and have a blessed day.